within a half hour of her being killed. You understand what I'm saying? This is why we're here. This is your chance.
Amanda Suarez was a mother of 4. She was devoted and she was loved. And on December 7th, 2016, she was murdered in her own home by someone she knew, her neighbor. But here's the thing about Amanda. In the final moments of her life, she did something extraordinary. She grabbed her phone and she took a picture of the man attacking her. She made sure we would know exactly who did this. That kind of presence of mind in the face of something unimaginable, that's not common. Today we're going to walk through everything. The evidence, the investigation, the interrogation footage, and watch a killer's lies fall apart piece by piece. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, because this case deserves to be seen through to the end.
911, what's your emergency?
Yes, I have an emergency.
Yes, ma'am, what's going on?
I'm at the store right now, but my sister's at the house, and there's blood everywhere.
There's blood everywhere?
Yes.
Is that your sister's house? What's your sister's address?
I don't remember. It's in Avon Park.
It's in Avon Park. Okay, where are you at?
I'm at the town star.
That's Amanda's sister on the line. And you can hear it, the moment her brain is trying to process something it was never built to process. Blood everywhere. Her sister. In her own home. What you don't hear in that call is that Amanda's young son was inside that house when this happened. He survived. He was there. Emergency services in Avon Park responded fast, but nothing prepares a family for a call like this. Nothing prepares anyone. And yet, this is where the investigation begins, in chaos and grief, and a sister's voice breaking in real time.
Did Mommy get a boo-boo? Uh-huh. Did Mommy get a boo-boo?
Mommy.
Did you see Mommy get a boo-boo?
Huh?
Did you see Mommy get a boo-boo?
So this is what investigators are working with. A toddler, maybe 2 years old, and a forensic interviewer gently asking if Mommy got a boo-boo. This is one of the hardest parts of any case, when your only potential witness is too young to understand what a witness even is. Child forensic interviews require specialized training because you can't lead them and you can't push them, and most of the time, you're just hoping for fragments. This little boy saw something no child should ever see, and he doesn't have the words to tell anyone what it was.
How old is
Under 18, like.
Is he old enough to drive?
No, he doesn't drive.
No, but he may not drive. But is he old enough to drive?
Yes.
Yes.
He could drive if he wanted to, but he needs to get his license, but he doesn't drive at all.
So he's at least 16 years old, but less than 18.
Yeah, so he's 17, 16. I know he's not 18. He should not be 18.
Okay.
But I need.
All right. And when's the last time you saw?
Monday, I think.
Monday he was at the house and he didn't mention about going out of town anymore?
No, he didn't come back from, but that was like in Thanksgiving. He came back from Thanksgiving break from somewhere, but I don't know where that was.
Oh, he didn't tell you where it was?
No.
Okay. You know where his grandma lives?
No, I know where his mom is.
Where's that?
Next to me. Well, he used to be next to me. Now I'm gone. She still lives there, but. Yeah.
What's her name? Do you know?
No. Are we getting back our house?
Yes.
They said that we're never going back there again.
Your dad may not want to be there anymore.
Now we're with one of Amanda's older sons. And you can hear it in his voice. He's trying to hold it together while answering questions about mundane details, like whether his brother drives. This is what people don't see about homicide investigations. Family members become sources of information before they're even allowed to grieve. Investigators need timelines and relationships and whereabouts, and the family is still processing that their mother is gone. That last question about whether they're getting the house back? That breaks me, because the answer is yes, but it'll never be home again.
Let me introduce ourselves. We're here. We got working on a case, and maybe you might be able to help us with some information that we need. When you go to school?
11th grade.
11.
I stopped and started going to work. We got a little rough.
Okay.
We moved down here, and it was rough down here, and I just I quit going to school.
Where do you go to school at?
I don't go.
Where was the last
I went to Okeechobee.
Oh, you went to Okeechobee High School, so you've been here how long ago?
I've been here about 3 years.
3 years?
I'm Mississippi.
3 years, okay. So 3 years in Okeechobee from Mississippi. Okay. And the 3 years you've been here, who have you been dating anybody or?
I was dealing with my fiance.
Fiance?
It's been 3 years.
3 years?
I wasn't here too long and I met her.
Okay.
And
What's
we got together.
her name?
Sarah.
Sarah.
The one that's in the hospital, and that's who I was up there with.
Okay. Is she okay?
Hopefully. She might have to have heart surgery.
Oh, pretty
Right.
seriously.
She's probably going to go home today. Hopefully that's why I was up there, and hopefully everything will be okay.
Okay. So y'all been together for about 3 years? Y'all have any kids together?
I've been thinking about it.
Okay.
Maybe.
So last week, let's go back to last week. You worked all week. Nice. You go home every day by 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
You're asleep by somewhere about 7:30.
Yeah.
And you sleep till 4. That's every day.
Yeah.
Now, is there any days of those days that you didn't go home and go to bed immediately? Do you ever go to town? Do you ever go anywhere?
No, I don't go nowhere.
So last week, every day was your routine to go to bed at the same time.
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Same routine. You didn't go anywhere.
No, I
Stay home.
stay at home. I stay home. I mowed my dad's grass one morning. But like I said, about 8:30, I quit that and went to bed because if I have to have sleep. I'm a person that has to have a sleep or I'm not happy. And
So Friday's the last time you drove to town?
yeah.
What about last week at all? Did you drive to town?
No.
You said you were home sleeping every day, so.
Yeah, I don't
go to drive to town.
Yeah.
So you didn't visit anybody in town? You didn't go anywhere in town last week?
No.
You worked all week, and then on the weekends when you spent time with your family, and you were with them when you drove the truck, except when you went to get gas.
Yeah, that's the only time I drove that truck. Basically, kind of sit down with settlers for to get gas.
Okay.
And now with my wife, I ride with her.
Yeah. And you were saying that that your Sarah is related to the girl that was killed over here?
Cousins.
Their cousins? Are they good, close cousins?
They were like sisters.
Okay. What about you? Are you close to her too? And her husband?
I consider myself in the family. I was close to her husband. I worked with their husband.
He was a milker, or?
No, I worked with him at his job he does now.
Oh, laying line?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I only lasted there 2 days.
Hard work?
I was kind of scared to get shot.
Yeah. That's understandable.
McCarthy's called me with my second day there, and I said, see you later.
Do you rather milk cows or do the cable now? With all the burns on your arms and everything?
I ran lay the cable now. A little shocked that
milking is hard.
My arms all beat up from getting kicked, man.
Yeah, milking is hard work, man.
I don't like it.
Yeah. You probably take that cable job back now, huh?
Yeah. He told me, because I called him last night, I was like, think he's going to hire me back? He said, yeah, come in. And my wife was saying that you don't need to take this job because you're making more McCarthy's and this and that, so I didn't go. I said, well, you're never going to get in the shop no more.
So you're pretty close to Matthew? Is Matthew, is that his name? Matthew,
I think we're closer than like family wise.
Do you go to their house often?
No.
Never?
I went there the 2 days I went to work.
2 days, when was that?
I worked with him.
So you only been there twice?
A few times on occasions, I guess. It's not somewhere we went all the time. They were more like came and seen us.
Okay.
When was more the time?
When was the last time you went and visited them?
It was, when was it? I remember I didn't go there and visit or nothing. I was there. I was taking my wife there to get my mom. I can't remember when that was.
Was it months ago, weeks ago?
No, I think it was in November.
November?
It was the end of November.
So it's been a couple weeks?
Yeah, I was there. I had to take my wife to get my mom. Yeah, then Matt came out and talked to me and everything. He was walking his dog.
I know Matt.
Yes.
Do you smoke?
No, he used to a long time ago.
Yeah.
I've been clean from that and it doing no good.
So you don't
Don't even drink no more.
No.
Cigarettes is all I do.
So you don't go to his house and hang out and smoke like a lot of friends of his do?
No, I want to keep my wife. If I smoke that, she'll leave me. So
She'll leave you?
I don't do it in there. And I don't even drink no more.
So you don't normally go to his house and
No.
hang out with him?
And here he is, Christopher Shows, the neighbor who considered himself family. Watch his body language here. He's loose, he's chatty, he's rambling about cattle work and job changes like this is a friendly conversation. That's not nerves, that's a performance. He volunteers that he rarely visits Amanda's house, that he stays home every night, that his routine is ironclad. He's building an alibi before anyone's even accused him of anything. Innocent people answer questions. Guilty people construct narratives. And Christopher? He's constructing.
Let's get back to, do you remember when she was killed?
Yeah, I remember the day it happened. When I got called.
What day was that?
Again, it was a Wednesday. I think.
Wednesday? What do you hear about that?
All I know
What do you hear?
over the time I've heard things, but
What have you
the
heard?
day it happened, she said that there was a body. She was gonna kill me if Jess did anything, and
So she suspected.
yeah, because she had heard handcuffed. Cause you know how rumors get started, and she heard handcuffed and there was a body, but she didn't know at that time either. She just said, "I'm like," she just hurt your sister. Then all that went out the window, and she called me back and said, "Go on and this and that," and I was like, "I'm sorry. I had to go to work that night. I wanted to be there, but I just started the job, so I had to go to work." I went to work, got home, I called her, she come out to me that Wednesday. She came out and she was all tore up, and I was holding her and telling her, "I'm sorry, everything's gonna be okay, even though it's not gonna be okay, you don't feel or something like this." And next few days I would just go to work and I'd be there with them when I could.
Okay.
Then she told me that recently, a few days ago, I guess, the funeral guy told Matt that she was shot, so we found out she was shot.
So what do you hear about what happened?
Just that she got shot and maybe she was...
Who gave you all this detail? Who told you all this? Just people.
Well, Sarah, my fiance, tells me everything. I'm not just going to go up in the thing and be like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah.
Sarah told me everything, but I guess they found out from Matt. Linda found out from Matt.
Okay.
And they told, and it just got around.
Okay.
I got to Sarah and them on top of that because they were close.
Well, as far as again the day that she died, you said you worked till that morning, correct? And then you went home, took a shower. Then
Talked to Sarah.
Talked to Sarah.
Tell her, because she didn't know she was going to Disney World.
Okay.
I knew. And then she found out, and she was all crying because she was happy. So I told her, "Okay, that's fine."
So they left that morning before you got home?
No, they were gone. They left the night.
The night before? When you were working?
Yeah, I had to go to work.
The whole family left?
Yeah, Sarah, the family left. Glenn and them left. Then me and Sarah was there. Sarah left. See, Wednesday, is it Tuesday? Tuesday at lunchtime, Sarah left with Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
Harold and Glenda left Monday, I'm saying.
Monday. So your parents, her parents left Monday, and then your girlfriend and her sister left.
Tuesday around lunchtime when I was sleeping.
So when you got home, there was no one home?
No.
Okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. I called her Wednesday.
And then you went to sleep?
Called her, called my mom, called my dad.
And then you went to sleep after you got home?
Yeah,
So
I mowed half of Harold's yard.
Oh, so that's when you mowed?
Yeah, I mowed about half of Harold's yard. It was about 8:30, so I went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I'm done. I still ain't finished the yard up.
Is there anyone that can say you were there when that happened? When you mowed the yard and you were home? Or you were just home alone?
I was just there by myself. I was just talking to my wife and
on the phone? And then you ended up going
because I had been telling Dad that I was going to mow his yard for him and I'll probably do it.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah told me, "Don't do it. There's going to be too much of me trying to do that. Then go to sleep."
Yeah.
I said I could probably get it done because this is your attorney. Go that yard quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. About 8:30, I was falling asleep on the mower.
Yeah.
And I about messed up. And
Okay.
so I was like, I gotta go ahead and go to sleep.
Alright. So I just want to make sure, because we talked to a lot of people.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we cover every angle and talk to everyone, because until we figure this out, everyone's a suspect. You understand that? And we make sure you go
I
out
told
with
Sarah that eventually they're gonna get around on me too, because
we got to everybody else,
I've
right?
seen movies and I know everything happens.
We got to get to everybody.
Notice how he's over-explaining. He's giving timestamps for when he mowed the yard, who left when, what time you went to sleep. Nobody remembers their Tuesday in that kind of detail unless they've rehearsed it. And then the detective drops it casually. Everyone's a suspect. And Christopher just nods along like that's perfectly reasonable. Here's what he doesn't know yet. Amanda's phone captured his face during the attack. All this alibi construction? It's about to meet a photograph that makes every word of it irrelevant.
What I want to ask you is, okay, you say you were home on Tuesday. You have no one that can, or Wednesday. You have no one that can say you were home Wednesday. You mowed the lawn Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got
The
home.
only ones that I'm gonna tell you that I was out there mowing yards, the people that work out in the fields and stuff.
They saw you, right? There's no telling who saw you or who didn't see you.
No.
So you pretty much don't have anybody to say you were there on Wednesday. You have a cell phone, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They picked up my phone.
Yes. Yes. We have to check phones also. And you know why we check phones, right? Because we can go back on those phones and we can tell where that phone was at all times going back in time. Mm-hmm. So we can go back from now till then, and we can tell where you were then. You understand what I'm saying? We can follow that phone wherever it went.
Yeah, no. Got some pointers right there.
So that's where we have your phone.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
And you're not the only one we're doing this to.
Okay.
But we want to make sure that everything you told me was the truth.
Yeah.
So if there's anything you need to change, you tell me now.
No,
okay. So when we go back to Wednesday morning, that phone is going to go from your barn to the house, and it's going to stay there.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if that phone moves from your house to this house, we have a problem.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's a huge problem. That's something that you're going to have to answer to.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And I'm going to get to the point now. Okay? I can tell you haven't been really honest with me on a lot of things. Because as investigators, we follow every lead. We follow every turn. We talk to everyone. Okay? And we followed her phone also. Okay? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And your phone is being followed now to see how far it went, where it moved to.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you right now that I'm pretty sure your phone was at her house. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a good reason why I know that. So you and I need to have a good talk. You understand what I'm saying? Can you explain to me why you were there?
I wasn't even there. I went to work and...
Hold on a second. Okay. See, we found Sarah's phone.
Sarah?
Oh, not Sarah's phone. We have her phone. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And your pictures in that phone. And your pictures in that phone within the time period that she was killed. Inside her house. Do you understand me? Same date, same time. You see where that is? That's you inside her house. Within a half hour of her being killed. You understand what I'm saying? This is why we're here. This is your chance to tell me what you have to say.
Well, I didn't.
This is your chance
So I'm telling you.
to tell me if there's remorse in your heart. We need to talk. You understand me?
And there it is, the photograph. Amanda Suarez, in her final moments, had the presence of mind to document her own killer. She gave investigators exactly what they needed when she had every reason to give up. Christopher Shows is sitting there, watching his entire fabricated story collapse because a dying mother was braver than he ever anticipated. He's sentenced to life without parole. He'll never leave prison. But Amanda's 4 children will never get their mother back. That's the math that justice can't balance. She deserved decades more. What she got was the clarity to make sure her killer couldn't escape. That's not just courage. That's legacy.
We're here because, we're just getting lucky. We're here because we know a lot of things. This is your one chance, Maya. Why were you there?
I'm glad to see Matt.
Okay, what happened?
She was there. She opened. I didn't kill her.
Okay,
But I just...
tell me what happened.
She opened the window and said, "Hey, what's up?"
Okay.
I said, like I said, that was the morning that the neighbors were getting crazy and all the yard and stuff. She opened the window and she said, "Hey, Mr. I said, could have talked to Matt." Of course, you just can't tell Dad that I drank his shot because I was drinking. I had drank a beer or two. And I went in and we was talking and whatever. I fell asleep on the couch. And I woke up and said, "Alright, well, Matt's not here, so we just gonna go." So I was there for a little bit, not too long. I guess I fell asleep on the couch and I woke up and said, "I'm going there because I was drinking. I needed to get home before I wrecked or something." And I went home and I went to sleep. Then all this happened, I was scared, really. I was just scared because I didn't want to think that no one had done this shit. I didn't want to open my mouth and tell anybody I went there with the truck.
The problem is that the neighbor saw you there. You understand?
Yes.
They saw what you were wearing. Okay? You were wearing slides that day.
Yes.
The slides are the footprints we found in the house in the blood. Understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I know you're lying to me. Where are those slides right now?
My dad's house.
They're in the house.
My dad's. My ex, Ronnie Smith, not Suarez.
So they're at your dad's house, Ronnie Smith. He lives up there also?
Mm-hmm. No, he lives in over there by Pogies.
At Pogies?
That restaurant? I don't know his address. I know he lives in the apartments behind Pogies.
Okay.
Where that ice machine's at, he lives right there.
See, we know what happened. We know you walked over to the house. Correct? You walked in her blood, you left footprints. We have your shoe size. We know what kind of slides you were wearing. Neighbor saw you. So, as of right now, I want to know exactly what happened. Tell me what happened. Why did it happen? Did she attack you? Did she threaten you? Did she pull a knife on you? Did she scare you? What happened? This is your chance, my man, to show some remorse. Because I know in your heart, you feel it. This is something you're carrying with you. And the only way you're going to feel better about it is just to let it go. You believe in God, right? You believe in forgiveness, right?
That's kind of.
Tell me what happened.
I did it.
You did it? What happened?
I shot him. But I got scared.
I understand. I would have been scared.
Scared because I was there and I didn't want to wear anything. Nothing. We just walked in the house when you got it. The rest was kind of foggy. I was kind of blacked out, I guess. I don't remember being home and that's it.
I understand. So a lot happened.
He's doing it. Right there. He's trying to black out his way to reasonable doubt. I was kind of foggy. I can't remember. Classic move from someone who knows the evidence is airtight. Here's what the jury saw that Christopher didn't count on. Amanda's photograph wasn't just a face. It was a timestamp. It was proof he was inside that house when he swore he was asleep on his couch. You can't memory hole your way out of digital evidence. The fog he's selling? It lifted the moment her phone went into evidence.
A lot happened.
I'm not myself, so it's not the only time this happened.
Just a lot happened. I understand. Yeah. Sometimes we make mistakes.
Right. It's something like that. I just lost everything I got. I lost
We make mistakes, you know, and it makes you a man to face it.
I wanted to turn myself in. I just didn't know how to do it without getting away from everybody. I wanted to come, because I hear these things that they'll really put you away if you try to hide or whatever.
Well, it's more helpful.
I didn't want
to come forward and
I just
you
didn't
show
know how I
remorse.
could face my wife and see her heart after I was there and cared her.
Yes, sir. I understand. I saw you there.
I just didn't want to see her heart break like that after I know I hurt her, because I never said I've hurt her in any way like that. I just didn't know how to get here to turn myself in without letting everybody know what I was doing, because now here is my safest place. Because they're going to want to kill me.
Well, I think you were carrying that burden in your heart.
They're not going to want to, there ain't going to be no talking from now. This is the safest place I can be.
No one's going to hurt you, right? Understand?
I wanted to turn myself in. Sure you did, Christopher. You wanted to turn yourself in so badly that you went home and slept in your own bed while Amanda's body was still warm. What we're watching here is a man who's run out of alibis and is now pivoting to remorse as a legal strategy. But here's what makes this hollow. Investigators already knew from Amanda's phone records exactly when that photograph was taken. The timeline was locked before he walked into this room. Every tear he's producing now is just audition tape for a sympathy plea that's never coming.
I had a 22 to 22s and I was drinking. I was drunk. Not fancy, I just had one beer. I drank about that much that day.
Where's the 22?
It's in here with gun cabinet.
Okay, so you got it out of hand with gun cabinet? Okay.
And I was playing around outside shooting the gun and stuff.
That's the showcases with on his driveway.
Yes, it was a 22 rifle. It was mine that I bought.
Where did you buy that?
Off of a buddy. I don't even know if it's a good gun or not. I just know I bought it because I wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
I had it a long time before. And since everything's out now, I always had thoughts of killing and what it would be like. Would it make me feel any better because of everything that happened to me? And would it make anything any better if I killed someone? Will it make my anger go away? Or would it do nothing to me?
Yeah. Did it change you? Do you feel better?
So, I feel I wanted to turn myself in. I can't sleep, man. I can't really eat.
Mm-hmm. It's a big burden you were carrying. So this is thoughts that you had before that you want to see how it felt to kill someone?
Yeah, like, is it like the movies or not? It's like, there's so much that goes on in my head, I can't even think straight sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And when that stuff happened, I can't remember. I remember going in there and being scared. And she was running to the back door and I shot her. And I drug her in the kitchen and the rest is just foggy.
Okay.
Because I guess the jacket hit me or something and I don't remember nothing. And I remember being so scared and I couldn't find the truck keys. There's blood on Harold's truck. Harold didn't have nothing to do with this, I promise. Okay. He was not there. He had nothing to do with it. But there was blood in his truck and I tried to clean the blood up because it was all over me. Mm-hmm. And I hope they just don't find her in their truck. I don't want them to go through seeing that. Mm-hmm. And then lost everything over that shit. Yeah. Just get so used and I don't feel like I'm right sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not until I kill somebody.
Well, you know, everybody's different. Everybody has things they got to deal with.
And I'm not a violent person. I don't know what happened.
Nobody ever said that. No. I never thought you were a violent person.
I knew it was over when they arrested me because they didn't do nobody else like that in the family.
Yeah.
They didn't just go in and grab nobody and arrest them. I knew all was done.
So can you, if we go back to when you got off work, you have thoughts?
I'll tell you everything.
Okay.
Everything I told you before was true. That wasn't
yes. I believe all that.
Just Wednesday.
So you're telling me you have thoughts of this?
No, never had thoughts of killing.
Not her.
Not her. I just.
Yes.
I told Sarah about this. Sarah told me I needed help.
Yeah.
Because I'd be just talking like this right here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I would lock up and just thoughts of killing would come in my head or restraining somebody because I'm just always so angry. Not at nobody in particular angry, it's just
internal anger.
Yeah, family got split up. We moved here. I lived in Mississippi all my life. And there's so much stuff going on, and I don't feel like I just feel horrible because I never had a job, but I've had so many jobs, and I feel like I'm not a good man for Sarah. I can't provide or nothing. I had a house. I lost the house to drinking. I can't put drinking down. Drinking is a problem for me. Which, that was the last time I drank was on that Wednesday. I got off work Wednesday morning. I went home and I showered, let the dogs out, watched them in the yard, and I took Harold's Jack Daniels, and I just kind of chugged it. And I couldn't stop myself this time. I had to go do something.
Okay. I understand.
The only one that came to mind, why? But I knew she was alone because Matt was at work. I worked with her.
Mm-hmm.
But however, I didn't go over and kill him. I was just going to go there. Hopefully Matt was there to talk to him. On my way there, I called my mom and told her I loved her. And called Ronnie. And there was a lot of times I just wanted to turn the truck around and go home. I couldn't. I just didn't know what the hell I was doing, actually. I wasn't in my mind, I guess.
Yeah.
And I just kept looking at myself in the mirror ever since.
Internal anger. That's what he's calling it now. See, this is where Christopher reveals something the detectives didn't even have to pull out of him. He admits he'd fantasized about killing before, wondered what it would feel like, whether it would fix something broken inside him. This wasn't a drunken accident or a moment of passion. This was a man who'd been shopping for a victim, and Amanda happened to be alone that day. Sarah warned him he needed help. He didn't get help. He got a .22 rifle and a bottle of Jack Daniels.
And can you tell me about, you know everything pretty much, you know some details about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
What have you heard about that?
From the news or from the newspaper, I heard that the dead, but that's not Chris. I don't know.
Okay, has he ever told you anything at all about any of this? Have he talked to you about it?
Not at all.
He hasn't told you anything about it at all?
No.
From the day of the 7th, you said, did you work?
Yes.
Were you working on the 7th?
Working on the 7th. I think, yeah, I mean, I worked that morning. Yeah, that morning.
Where do you work at?
KFC.
KFC.
Yes.
So you were working that morning?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't hear from him at work?
No.
You said you heard from him that evening?
Yes. He just told me that he had some bad news. I'm like, well, what is it, son? This is Sarah's cousin. They found her dead. And I'm like, okay, they know who did it? No, they don't know who did it. I said, okay.
So he didn't tell you anything else?
Nah, but every day after that, he called me. He came over.
Was that normal for him? Were you guys close, or were you kind of distant in a way?
We were.
From what I gathered,
Close.
you guys weren't really close.
Yeah, we were close, but I work all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He was working, so, yeah.
Was that a change in behavior, though?
Yes, it was for him, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he called me every day, saying, Mom, I love you. And I'm like, okay, Chris, I love you too.
Mm-hmm.
And he came over like every other night. He came over to spend time with the kids. Did that.
That
Yeah.
That was after that. So there was a change in the behavior.
Yes. Yes.
Did he ever say anything that concerned you? Anything at all that he may have said during that time period that was not normal?
Well, he did say that he will always love me, no matter what happened. Sometimes you can be here and then, and then you're just gone. I'm like, I said, well, Chris, are you okay? He said, yes, Mom. That was like, that was kind of odd.
Mm-hmm. He never disclosed anything about that?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
And you have visited him at jail?
Yes.
How many times have you visited him already?
This will be my second time.
Second time?
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time?
Tuesday.
So last Tuesday?
Yes, last Tuesday.
And then today being Wednesday?
Yes.
What he hasn't told you anything during visitation?
Well, I asked him the first time, I said, well, did you do it? Because I want to know, it's not like him. Well, he goes, well, Mom, no. Well, he didn't tell me. He goes, well, Mom, I can't talk about it because I guess we're being recorded.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And then I asked him again. He goes, well, Mom, you know me, right? And I said, yes, Chris, I do know you. So, I don't know, something ain't right.
What did you say that something ain't right as in how?
Because, he wouldn't do this. I mean, he's overprotected over me, over his sisters. I mean, when me and Johnny, my boyfriend, we get in a fight, he's like, don't you lay a hand on her, don't you do this. That's Chris.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not Chris. Either he might have been having something with that girl and somebody walked in, I don't know, but it's like everything's going through my mind right now. Like, it can't be him.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
It is.
It's hard for us to believe. But evidence doesn't lie.
Oh, yeah.
And not only does evidence not lie, but he talked to us and he gave us details that no one else should have ever known.
Okay.
Because it was details that we did not release to anyone. It was details that the deputies or anybody here didn't know, but me and another detective and a couple of the evidence people. And the details he gave were exactly as the scene details.
Okay. So I don't understand why we do it.
We don't either. We try to figure that out ourselves, but we probably will never know.
Yeah.
We'll probably never know.
His own mother. They brought in his own mother, and she's sitting there trying to make sense of what she already knows doesn't make sense. She noticed the behavioral change, the sudden daily phone calls, the "I love you no matter what happens." That's not a son reconnecting. That's a man saying goodbye to his old life because he knows what's coming. And when she asked him directly in jail, he deflected, told her she knows him. But she doesn't. She knew the version of him that hadn't killed yet.
It's a tragedy.
Yes.
For everyone. Your family's suffering, her family's suffering, everyone's suffering. So it's a horrible thing.
Could somebody could have helped him or something? I mean, I'm like...
Help them, as in how?
Do that.
He's got his attorneys in that.
No, I'm talking about when the killed. I mean, could he have somebody there to help him do it?
There is no signs of anyone else being there with one person.
Okay.
Okay,
that's why I'm just...
And I'm just going to be straight up with you. There was shoe prints in the house.
Okay.
Of one person only. And the shoe prints were in blood. Okay. And the only person that had those shoes on was him. And we had the shoes.
Okay.
So there's no one else that left their shoe prints in the house but him. And he admitted that they were his, and he admitted that he was the only one in the house, besides the child.
I just couldn't. Because he's overprotected over the little one. I mean, wow. Yes. I don't know.
Yes. So no, we don't believe there was anyone in the house.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions? I'll answer the best I can. I'm here to answer some questions if you want to ask me some questions.
Okay.
So whatever you can think of, just ask me.
Okay.
Sure?
Yeah. I'm still... Yes. He can't do this. I don't know, something.
Yes, it's difficult to, especially being your son. And no parent wants to think of their son being a criminal in this, in this category.
Yeah, I know, but
it's hard to believe. But like I explained to you, there is details that he provided details that we didn't even know that after we look back, we're like, oh yeah, now we'll see. So, when he provided those details, yes, we knew we had the right person.
Chris couldn't do this. I said, I know. I said, I don't know.
Well, as you saw in the news, it's been released. The girl took a picture of him in the house.
Yeah.
And it was within a 20-minute period of her dying. And he was the only one in the house with her.
Hmm.
So, just those things kind of came together. And that's what led us to him.
Okay.
So, the picture she took was, pictures are, speak 1,000 words,
Yeah, I
understand. He was in the house with her, and it was not a place where he should have been. He had no business being there.
Yeah, he shouldn't.
And for his picture to be on her phone inside her house at the approximate time period when the murder occurred kind of, led us in his direction.
Okay.
The detective just told a mother that her son is a murderer, and her first instinct is to ask if someone helped him, not to accept it, to find another explanation. That's not denial in the clinical sense. That's a parent's brain physically rejecting information it cannot metabolize. And the worst part? The detective doesn't argue. He just lays out the shoe prints, the blood, the photograph. One person, one set of tracks. No accomplice to share the blame. Just her boy. And she has to sit there and let that land.
Sending hurt one. Well, he was sitting there talking, I fell asleep on the couch. Like I was sitting, I was asleep because I was drunk. Yeah. And I woke up. I did kind of grab her leg, and she said, "Stop, don't grab my leg." Yep. That's when I got scared. I didn't want to say that I didn't want to lose nothing. But instead of a simple argument with my wife, I lost everything now. Because when I got the gun and she ran and I shot her and I drove her in the kitchen. The rest I don't remember.
When you drug her in the kitchen, we see you moved her around the cover in the hallway, correct? You have to move her.
Yeah, to close the door.
So the door was open, she tried to run out the door?
Yes, that's when the neighbors said they heard her scream because she screamed out the door help. That's when I shot her.
Okay, so did she fall out the door?
Kinda. And I grabbed her and yanked her back in.
And you closed the door. And then did you move her?
Yeah, I remember after that, I remember dragging her and through the hallway and then I don't remember.
How do you drag her?
Like,
Like shirt?
yeah, like her shirt and this kind.
Okay. And then you placed her in the...
Then I set the gun.
Where do you put her at when you drag her?
Just in the kitchen.
Kitchen. Okay, and then the gun you put where?
I sat over there and the blood had ran all over on the bottom of the gun. And the gun probably got blood on the bottom of it. I tried to clean it, but I don't think it got it. I just want to know that this was just me. Nobody had nothing to do with it. I knew I snapped out of my shit.
Mm-hmm.
I snapped out of these stinks and stuff, and I knew when I got back home and laid down, I started crying. I knew I messed up. I wanted to turn myself in, but I was just scared to. Because I'm clean, so I took my Jordans and I told my dad, I took them to my dad.
The Jordans?
Took them to my dad's and I told him to leave them there. I've been trying to avoid getting them back. So everything kind of slowed down, but I knew it wasn't ever going to calm down. They were going to get there eventually.
What about your clothes? Where's your clothes at?
I burned them.
Let's talk about her phone. What happened with her phone?
I took it.
Okay. What's the reason?
I remember, that's about the only thing I remember after dragging her was grabbing her phone because I grabbed the gun and I seen the phone on the floor and it was covered in blood. No, I went around in the back to make sure there wasn't nothing around back. I was making sure there was no one looking at it, but apparently like it was him. Then her phone was sitting on the back porch, the back step, with blood all over it. I picked it up and I got in the truck. I think that's where all the blood came from that got in the truck, I guess. Because I had blood on my hands.
So that's the confession. And listen to how it spills out, fragmented and jumbled because he's not recalling events. He's rationing information. I don't remember appears exactly when the details get incriminating. But here's what seals it. The footprints under the back porch, the blood trail from the kitchen to his truck, and Amanda's phone, covered in blood because she used her final moments to photograph the man killing her. That photograph traveled through forensic analysis and courtroom proceedings until it put Christopher Shows away for life without parole. Amanda made sure of that.
I don't know why the hell I did what I did. It didn't make no sense to me at all. What I did, I couldn't stop.
Have you ever heard anyone else in the past?
Just people that know somebody like fighting or whatever.
Your hands? Fought. But you never killed anyone else?
Not yet. That's why I don't like to do. I don't like to be messing because I'm real little, but my temper and stuff's so bad that I go a little. You get crazy and I don't know when to stop. I went to jail for a battery. You probably seen it on my record. I went to jail for that battery, but the boy hit my little brother and he's only 16. I grabbed him up and basically on top of him, I would have killed him. Brittany didn't pull me off. I just kept beating his face in.
Okay. Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What,
Sure.
I know I'm telling on with the lifetime.
Oh, we don't mind. You know, it's,
What's the most I can get for this? If you look on the history on my phone, I was looking up first degree murder, what is second degree, what is the premeditated thing, and I guess premeditated is you thought about doing it. Maybe that is the case, but I didn't have the intention to do it, it was just thought, and it didn't include that.
yeah.
But they said death penalty in life, and
Well, and it's a crime. Obviously, we all know that, you know. I really can't tell you. It all depends on your attorney and what the jury decides and what the judge decides. So I really can't tell you how that's going to work out. You will be charged with murder, obviously, right? Because you know that already.
what kind is it?
I can't tell you yet because I have to talk to everybody and talk to the attorney.
And I don't want nobody to because I put the baby in danger because of what I did, but I didn't intentionally.
And I have no doubt you didn't want to hurt that baby. I know you didn't because that's not who you are. You weren't going to hurt that baby. And, you know, what happened, you know, it happened. There's nothing you can do about it
And I
now.
just had so much.
But it doesn't make you that person. You gotta understand that, okay? Everyone makes mistakes. We all do. Some make bigger ones than others, but it's a mistake. And that's where we're at. You see what I'm saying? And I'm sure, you talking to me, you already feel
I
better.
feel better, but I just, if it's possible, I request, I don't want to see none
Family.
Harold or if my mom, I would rather y'all tell my mom,
Yes.
please. Tell her what I did. And
Did you tell anybody what happened?
look, I called my mom, this is what I'm saying, I was in the haze and I called my mom on my way. And I was really hoping that Matt was going to do that and it would have been.
Did you tell her you were?
No, I told her I called her and told her I loved her because I thought I knew I was probably going to do something stupid maybe.
But is there
Yeah, I
anybody
told her
else you
I
could fight it in and talk to about this?
No,
What happened?
I don't want to see no family. I just, if my mom wants to see me or whatever, it's okay, but I just can't handle seeing the fair right now.
Okay. We understand.
I mean, I know it's a real crazy question. There's no way I could smoke a cigarette or nothing.
Yes.
I don't have
any,
but
but I'll find you one.
Everyone makes mistakes. That's what the detective just said to a man who stabbed a mother to death in front of her toddler. And look, I get it. Interrogation tactics require building rapport, but Christopher Shows didn't make a mistake. He made a choice. He chose to ignore the warnings. He chose to grab that rifle. And when Amanda Suarez fought back hard enough to photograph his face, he chose to finish what he started. Amanda's 4 children will grow up without her. That's not a mistake. That's a theft. And thanks to one photograph taken by a dying woman, it's also a life sentence.
Did you go inside initially with the rifle, or what?
Dude,
How did that?
I was trying to fight myself. I was trying not to do nothing. So I went in there and I kind of just sat on the couch like you see in that picture. I was sitting there watching TV and I fell asleep like that.
What was she doing while you were?
She was sitting, she's the one that took the picture. She was sitting right there.
Did you know she took your picture?
Dude, I was out. I woke up and I kind of grabbed her leg and then she said stop. She didn't freak out or nothing. She just kind of said stop calmly and I freaked out.
So then you got up and went outside?
And got the gun.
What did she think you were doing when you got up and went outside?
I don't know. I said, all right, I'll see you later. She said, okay. And she was still sitting on the couch when I came back in with the gun.
And then what?
I was going to shoot her on the couch. She got up and kind of ran, and I ran behind her. And I grabbed her when she was up. She went to open the door, and I grabbed her.
Was that the back door?
Yeah. Then I let her go, and she started screaming off.
Where exactly was she positioned when you shot her? Where was she?
She was kind of like crouched down because she had just fell trying to get out the back door. And I shot her, and I pulled her real quick.
Yeah, but I mean, before, at the time you shot her, did you grab her and pull her in first, or you shot her and then pulled her back?
I shot her and then pulled her in.
So where was she exactly? Where was she at when you
She
shot
was trying to go out the door.
So was the door open or closed?
It was open. That's why they said when they never said they heard the shot because it was kind of outside when I shot.
Did she make it outside, or was she?
Halfway, that's what I'm saying. She dropped her phone and there was a little blood there maybe. And I yanked her back in the house before anything got in the way.
So
The neighbors were all outside calling and stuff. That's why they said they see me because they were all calling their name or whatever, trying to, I guess, check on her. I went around and back, picked the phone up, and
Well, where did she fall after you shot her?
yeah, she just kind of limped over and just did what I did. And sat to I left her out there the way she was. I kind of tripped over her walking out, so I don't know if that moved her or not. Because that's when I went and told her, okay, I'm not going to hurt you or whatever. And I was walking out, I slipped in the blood, and I kind of lost my foot. I slipped and I grabbed myself, I grabbed the gun, and I looked around to make sure nothing. But I knew I was finished because of the footprint. I seen the footprints on the rug, and I seen the footprints, and I just didn't know how I could, I don't know. I just couldn't believe it. I was shaking real bad and everything, and I didn't have no more 22 bullets, or I would have.
So the gun was out?
Yeah.
You only had one bullet?
Yeah, because I shot all of the 22 cases at Harold house. I used all his bullets.
And then you were there until everything happened. You said everything went down at about what time?
Maybe 10, maybe 11, something, because I wasn't, when I shot her and stuff, I don't think it was too long, but like I said, it's hard to remember. Just know I got there and I fell on the couch. Told him I was there, he wasn't there, and I was watching the movie that she had going, and I fell asleep like that. I got up, I kind of reached over and grabbed her leg, I guess. Opened he said no, and what are you doing? I freaked out, got scared, and I went and got the gun. And I shot him, drug her, and did what I did to her, and told him it was fine. I knew I wasn't going to hurt him. I got in the truck. I couldn't find the keys. I think I spent probably about 30 minutes looking for the keys because I couldn't find them.
Is that why there were so many tracks in the house?
Yeah, I was looking for the keys and I couldn't find them, and I found them under the seat.
Under the couch?
Truck seat.
Under the truck seat. So you left them in there before you went in the house?
Yeah, I guess they fell between the seats. I grabbed them out of the seat and turned the truck up and I got the hell out of there. I booked it out of there. Because while the truck was low on gas like it was, it didn't make it to the gas station. Because I had basically, the truck gas was going off and off and off on the way home. It just kept beeping. I was like, I'm going to gas if he was going to seem like this. And
He just walked us through it like he was recounting a trip to the grocery store. She kind of ran. I grabbed her. I shot her and pulled her in. No hesitation. No horror at his own words. Christopher Shows spent 30 minutes searching for car keys while Amanda lay dying on that floor. And here's the detail that should haunt you. He says he tripped over her on his way out, stepped in the blood, and kept moving. Amanda's photograph gave investigators the face. This confession gave the jury the soul of the man who killed her. Cold, methodical, utterly without remorse.
Yeah, I think you're opening up to us, and I believe you're being honest. But we just want to make sure if there's been any previous instance where we may need to look at or be mindful. You said you had some films in the past.
yeah, but I never carried them out. Like I said, there was always, I guess I can't be by myself. It always happens when I'm by myself. Sarah was at work. When I leave work, it's always someone's with me. Whether it be Sarah, her dad, my mom, whatever.
Have you ever hurt anybody before?
No.
What about?
The only violence, as violent as I ever got was with Alan when I got arrested that night. That's about the only time I got violent. Sarah was, I guess you can kind of like my second mom because I really don't have a relationship with my mom now. But I cheated on Sarah, but that was when we first got together. I didn't have the feelings I do now for her, and then cheated on her. I was drinking.
Well, I mean, if you were kind of forced yourself on somebody.
No. I never did nothing like that. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what came over me then. On that day that happened. I was just so angry. And
at what point did it first come into your mind as being the person that you were going to carry this out on?
she never came into mind as doing it like this.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that you should be punished for this?
Definitely. I think I should do the time that I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, I'd like to also have another shot at this whole life thing. I don't want to spend my life in prison. I do think I deserve time in prison. I think I deserve to be punished for what I did.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I just wanted a shot at life and having a family, and a shot at my dreams. I want to drive trucks. I want to be a semi-girl. I want a shot at that. I want to be able to drive trucks and come home and provide for my family and to everybody.
This was a person who's never had any drug use history. She's never been in any kind of trouble. We haven't heard a bad thing about her. How do you factor all of those people in?
What you just watched is a man negotiating with the universe. Christopher Shows sits in that chair talking about his dreams of driving semi-trucks, his shot at having a family, his future. And I need you to understand what's happening here because it's remarkable in the worst possible way. He's asking for balance. He's acknowledging he deserves punishment, but also wants a chance at life. He wants compromise. And the detective asks him the only question that matters. How do you factor in Amanda? A person with no drug history, no trouble, not a single bad word spoken about her. How does she fit into your equation of fairness? She doesn't. That's the answer Christopher can't give, because there is no version of justice where his dreams matter. Amanda had dreams too. 4 children who needed their mother. a life she was building. And Christopher Shows ended all of it because he was angry and alone one afternoon. Here's what strikes me about this entire interrogation. He admits he's dangerous when he's by himself. He admits he's had violent thoughts before. He admits Sarah was like a second mother to him, and he still betrayed her trust. Every single warning sign was there, and he walked past all of them straight to Amanda's door with a rifle. The detectives are patient here because they already have everything they need. Amanda's photograph timestamped him at the scene. His own confession walked them through every brutal minute. This conversation isn't about gathering evidence. It's about watching a killer try to lawyer his way into sympathy. And what does he land on? I think I should do the time I need to do. The time he needs to do. Like there's a formula. Like somewhere there's a spreadsheet that converts a mother's life into years served with good behavior. Christopher Shows received exactly what the evidence demanded. Life without parole. No semi-trucks. No family of his own. No second chances. Because Amanda Suarez didn't get a second chance either. But here's what Christopher never understood, and what the jury made clear. Amanda's final act wasn't just self-defense, it was testimony. She photographed the face of the man killing her, and that image spoke louder than any witness ever could. Her 4 children will grow up knowing their mother fought until the very end, and made sure the man who took her from them would never walk free. That's Amanda's legacy. Not a victim, a witness who refused to let her killer disappear into some alibi about sleeping on his couch. As of now, Christopher Shows remains exactly where he belongs, incarcerated, serving life without possibility of parole. There have been no appeals, no developments, just silence from a cell where he'll spend the rest of his days thinking about those semi-truck dreams that died the moment he pulled that trigger. Amanda deserved to watch her children grow up. She deserved decades more of ordinary, beautiful life. And instead, her family carries a loss that no verdict can restore. If this case stayed with you, then I think you'll want to see what happens when another killer convinces himself he's outsmarted everyone. There's a husband who thought he'd gotten away with murder, thought he'd covered every track. He was wrong, and watching that confidence collapse is something else entirely.